Well, we're starting with fireworks. Let's hope we get some on the field of play as well. Both these teams will be all right, won't they? Well, they both think they'll be all right. Speak to David Moyes and he will tell you that he thinks West Ham will get the points. Erik ten Hag was irritated with so much of Thursday night, but he can do math. He's pretty confident United will be in the Champions League next season. But in truth, nothing is certain. Liverpool snuck up behind United yesterday on the rails and under the radar. Manchester United, who do have the comfort of games in hand, look to only be able to play for 60 minutes right now. The accumulation of games just getting to them. West Ham have a 4-point cushion over those in the bottom three, but have started to lose consistently again. They are obviously victims of European distraction, but they also have a tough end to the season against teams scrapping for their lives. But both teams will be all right, won't they? Well, Scott Minto is an optimist. Tell you with confidence that everything's going to be okay.
Laying my couch, Sam. I can't be totally confident, I've got to say, because I don't think Liverpool are anywhere near the form they were last season, but it's 6 straight wins. They could easily make it 9. That would mean United will need 3 wins and 5. I think they will. I think they should, but it's no guarantee. As for West Ham, well, they'd like to nip it in the bud before they play Leeds and Leicester. I think 1 win or even 2 draws will do it. I do think they'll stay up, but they really could do with a point today.
Well, Manchester United's boss Erik ten Hag has talked about the relentless schedule, and that has certainly had an impact on his team. It's game 57 for Manchester United tonight. For West Ham United, they start with Fabianski in goal. There's an illness in the camp which has meant that Aguerd, Souček and Rice missed the game in midweek against Manchester City, but are back in the team tonight. Kehrer, Ogbonna, Aguerd and Cresswell make up the back four. In midfield, Souček, Rice and Paquetá. Bowen and Benrahma flank Antonio in attack. For Manchester United, De Gea is their goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka at right back, Malacia at left back might get them greater balance. Lindelof and Shaw the centre halves. Casemiro, Fernandes and Eriksen, that golden triangle in midfield with Antony, Weghorst and Rashford up top. West Ham in claret shirts and blue shorts. Manchester United in their change kit of white shirts and black socks. They'll attack the goal away to our left in this first half. London has been awash with the Union Jacks this weekend, and we are in the Queen Elizabeth Park, where 11 years ago that was a ubiquitous sight for 2 sun-drenched weeks as the Olympics came to town. Top 4 or not top 4? Premier League or Championship? 2 questions that David Moyes and his counterpart in the Manchester United dugout, Erik ten Hag, do not want to have to consider. Tonight is a big night for both. Referee Peter Banks is supported by Eddie Smart and Simon Bennett, the assistants Paul Tierney, the fourth official, and the VAR Stuart Atwell. The bubbles blown into the early evening sky. It's bright blue sky above our head at the London Stadium, with a corner of the ground opposite us bathed in sunlight, and we're off and underway. And with me, the FA Cup winner from 1997, Charlton Pin-Up, ex-Chelsea, Benfica and West Ham United left back Scott Minto, was part of the team that finished 5th in 1999-2000. Scott Minto, will West Ham keep Rashford quiet, because he's the biggest danger from United?
Yeah, thank you for that intro, by the way, Sam. Look, absolutely, and he is the key, but that's not to say that you can't look at Antony or watch out for Weghorst despite him not really scoring the goals. But absolutely, Rashford is the key here, and Kehrer is going to have to watch out for him. He's going to have to be tight. Ogbonna's going to have to come across. We talk about Declan Rice looking to get forward and score goals. Well, he's going to have to help protect Kehrer as well.
And he's on the ball inside Manchester United territory over on the far side, playing it infield to Paquetá, who keeps hold of it well, plays it to Rice, and it's a good early confident start from the team in claret and blue. Aguerd, back from illness, plays the ball through the centre circle, tucked out towards the near side. Manchester United have won their last 5 Premier League games against West Ham. Last season's match was a cracker, a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Late drama which saw David De Gea actually save a penalty from Mark Noble in the 95th minute. Here is Kehrer down the right-hand side, putting pressure on United in the early stages. The back heel allows Souček to get a crossing position in. It goes to the back post. It's taken down well by Benrahma. Maybe he should have hit it first time. He recycles it. It's headed away by Casemiro, and then one back on the edge of the box by Paquetá. Out to Benrahma. Onto the left. Cresswell with a chance to cross. It's a decent one into the near post, away by Lindelof. And it's out towards the far side, and it remains 0-0. Confident start from West Ham. on the attack with Rice into Paquetá, and it's cleared away by Eriksson.
Now, good start from West Ham now, and I said that's what they want to try and do first 5 or 10 minutes. But here goes Rashford.
With that speed through the middle of the pitch at the other end, onto Eriksson, then Rashford again, right-footed. And he took that early, hoping to catch Lucas Fabianski out. Didn't quite work out that way, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first couple of minutes are going to go by. We have got a game on our hands. West Ham, and you're right, Sam, I think Benrahma should have tried to strike that first time, really. By the time he took the touchdown after a good ball from Souček, Manchester United defenders got too tight to him, but wow, how quick was that on the break, especially for Marcus Rashford, and that is what West Ham have to watch out for, that quickness on the break there, especially from Rashford.
Well, whether Manchester United go above Newcastle, who lost earlier today to Arsenal, into third, and they put a 4-point gap between them and Liverpool in fifth, with a game in hand as well, so it's a vital time for Manchester United. For West Ham, if they were to lose today, they will be worrying about the games that Leicester, Forest and Everton all play tomorrow afternoon, and we'll keep you in touch with those as the conclusion to the EFL Divisions League 2 and Championship come to their conclusion on Talksport and Talksport 2 over the course of the next 24 hours. Nottingham Forest playing tomorrow night live on Talksport against Southampton as we continue to bring you all the big games here on Talksport. Ball up through the middle of the pitch, Casemiro looking for Rashford, can't quite find him, it's cleared away. Antonio chasing into the far corner, looking to draw something from Lindelof, doesn't quite come off for him, and in between the edge of the 18-yard box and the corner flag, the ball dribbles behind and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side. West Ham have lost more games at home than they've won, which doesn't bode well, and Erik ten Hag was right about the need to convert more of their chances. United have the 8th highest scorers in the Premier League, but their big chance conversion rate is just 16th in the league, backing up by the manager, and Luke Shaw actually was so irritated in the aftermath of that game down in Brighton.
Well, you look at the front three here, and I've said it a couple of times already, Rashford, Weghorst, Anthony. I mean, Anthony, a lot of money is spent on him, so a lot of time will be, given to him.
De Gea's kicked the ball out and straight to Declan Rice, who's in the penalty area down the left-hand side, trying to get a cross in. He had to be tracked by Weghorst, who got back, slid in, played it against Rice, and it went behind for another goal kick, and David De Gea apologises.
Yeah, you've got to be careful, haven't we? We've seen this before from David De Gea. He's just not good enough to be playing the ball out like that. Declan Rice just sitting in front of Weghorst, who's sometimes just dropping off. It's Rashford that's playing further forward at times, Weghorst this time, and that's what he can do. We'll work hard for the team. It's a great tackle, I have to say, with Declan Rice again showing what a good midfielder he is.
Ball played up towards Weghorst, who helps it on towards the middle of the pitch where Rashford was lurking. The return ball was heavy from Rashford, and Weghorst then chipped it forward down the right channel for Rashford to chase. Away by Fabianski, high into the evening sky. It's a whiff of summer about Stratford throughout the course of the day. Lots of people bathing in the parks and the green grass that's outside the stadium. Here is Wan-Bissaka's cross towards the far post, and it's picked up by Bruno Fernandes. And it is an interesting Manchester United formation, isn't it? Because I thought initially Rashford was going to start on the left-hand side, but it looks as if Bruno Fernandes has wandered out there, and Weghorst is playing as the number 10 behind Rashford, who's playing as the 9.
No, exactly. They're very rotating all the time, but definitely Weghorst is almost playing like a number 10. Bruno Fernandes out on the left. It's not a position he's particularly comfortable with, but he can do. He'll look to come inside all the time, and I can tell you now, Tila Kehrer would be absolutely delighted with that. At the moment it's Christian Eriksen, so again they're trying to be very fluid, but Marcus Rashford with that pace in behind, at the moment he's playing furthest up front.
Talksport 0-0 on a Sunday evening, an odd kick-off time, but because of the coronation that's why we've got it. Here is Paquetá trying to release Antonio, too hefty with his ball forward. See, I wonder whether or not Antonio could have latched onto the end of that. He didn't quite get there, and it eventually goes into the arms of David De Gea. Better tell you about the goal that's taken place at Kings Meadow. Chelsea lead Everton by 1-0 in the WSL. Guro Reiten with her 6th goal of the WSL season, and that would take them up into second position, 4 points behind Manchester United with 2 games in hand. They really need to win all of their matches between now and the end of the campaign. Chelsea, you would have thought, with Manchester United winning again today. Here on the right hand side, the ball is picked up by Anthony, moving towards the edge of the penalty area. It goes in on his left foot, it breaks towards Fernandes, who strikes it right footed, and it's only narrowly wide of the right hand upright. And a stranded Fabianski with bright orange boots and gloves, turned almost a little bit like a comedy figure, to look in the far corner, more in hope than anything else that ball didn't nestle in the far corner.
Well, he wasn't stopping it, was he? Nowhere near it. It was a good strike, and it was just went wide in the end. Bowen cannot give the ball away in midfield like that.
Here come West Ham at the other end. Again, they sort of get to the edge of the penalty area and the attack peters out. 2 good chances for Manchester United so far in the game. Well, we've only played 7 minutes. And Fernandes and Rashford have had sights of goal. Antonio goes down the right-hand side. It's pushed behind by Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, actually, who conceded the penalty late in the game against Brighton on Thursday night, but came out afterwards, faced up the media, shifted a little bit of the... It's my fault, I shouldn't have done it. I was caught in a situation where my hand escaped my body. Yeah, okay, hands up, it was me. But he also shifted a bit of blame onto the forwards, pointing the finger, saying that we wouldn't have been in that situation had the forwards have converted the chances that were created for them during the course of the first 45 minutes.
I think he's absolutely right. First of all, it was a mistake, and I still don't know why defenders do it, but it happens every now and again. I think he's been absolutely superb, not just at left back, but when he's asked to play centre back as well. And as a centre half or a member of the defence, you're under pressure all the time, especially at a place like Brighton who are playing so well. You need your forward players to relieve a bit of pressure, and when you get the chances, stick the ball in the back of the net. In that first half, they had the chances, Sam.
8 minutes gone here, 0-0. You're listening to Talksport live at the London Stadium in the east of the city. And it's been a rather busy weekend of football, hasn't it, on Talksport? And it's going to continue. Tranmere, Northampton in League 2, Talksport 2 tomorrow, Millwall, Blackburn. Adrian's going to be there for that one. Is at 3 o'clock. Middlesbrough commentary will be on Talksport 2. Here is Wan-Bissaka over on the right-hand side. Gets it to the edge of the West Ham penalty area, just in from the right. It's played into Anthony, who returns it to Wan-Bissaka. Rashford lurking, now comes outside of the box, joined by Eriksson. He's 10 yards back right side. West Ham with lots of men behind the ball, into Eriksson, who's managed to find a pocket of space in between the lines, and then Fernandes scoops the ball to Wan-Bissaka at the far post. It's headed away, and Rice will send it further clear, but Lindelof is now joining to squeeze up inside that West Ham half of the field, and they've won the ball back high inside opposition territory here, Manchester United. Fernandes strides forward. Weghorst, Eriksson goes past him but works its way to Malacia. Malacia infield to Eriksson once again. Erik ten Hag is outside his technical area, almost on the pitch, gesticulating and motoring as the ball goes down to Rashford left channel, played in by Fernandes, swung away by Aguerd and then collected by Malacia in the wide left position. Back centrally to Eriksson, patrolling, moving, eyes scanning everywhere as he nudges it off to Luke Shaw. Back out wide again to Malacia. Manchester United look comfortable in possession, and West Ham just sitting off slightly, allowing them to have the ball but keeping them at arm's length at present. They need a decisive ball, a defence splitting pass. Malacia tries to provide that. Into the box it goes, chested down by Weghorst, into the path of Anthony, and he smashes his volley just narrowly wide of the right-hand upright. Excellent football by Manchester United, patient built-up play, and eventually Weghorst setting up Anthony for a cracking chance.
Do you know what? That was brilliant football intelligence from Weghorst there, and I know, Sam, you're a fan of his, despite the stats not suggesting he's a worthy of a West Ham player, a Manchester United player, but that's why you asked me the question, what can he give? And that's what he can give. He gets himself in the right position, and just with the chest, first time, knowing exactly where Anthony was, almost behind him, didn't need to take that second touch. And Anthony really should be hitting the target there.
Yeah, he'll think he should have done as well. You're listening to West Ham United 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Now Sports, and don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League live without a contract. $11.99, search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via the internet, and terms apply. 0-0. Fabianski kicks the ball upfield, goes straight to a Manchester United jersey. It's turned over well by United, who after a really confident start by West Ham have actually sort of applied themselves well in the game, United, and taken a grip of it.
Absolutely, that's exactly how it's gone. First couple of minutes, West Ham trying to go at Manchester United, and then United basically saying, no, we're going to be the boss of this ball. And what West Ham need to do now is just try and keep it for 3 or 4 passes, because at the moment they're knocking it long, they're giving it away, they're under pressure, they're dropping off, and it's just giving United a bit of confidence. And it's not even as if West Ham are dropping off, being so organised that United can't create a chance. They've had 2 or 3 already.
Yep, they have. Anthony's had one, Fernandes and Rashford have all had opportunities in the opening 11 and a half minutes of the game. West Ham have had a virus in the camp. They were without a few on Wednesday night. 3 boys, Socek, Rice and Aguerd, who are back in today. Gianluca Scamacca has not played for West Ham since March the 16th because of injury Zuma's got an ankle problem that he picked up at Palace, and Vlad Soufal came off with a hamstring injury in midweek at Manchester City, so they don't have a full complement, but they have at least filled the bench tonight. Ball sent forward by Fernandes, looking for the run of Rashford. Across comes the defender and clears it away. It's given away again. Bowen not being able to get on the ball on this right hand side and gives it straight back to a white jersey. Fernandes floats the ball into the wide right position, and Wan-Bissaka has got a mile of space over there. He collects it, travels infield. West Ham are on the back foot here. Here's Weghorst into Anthony. Wan-Bissaka is to his right. Anthony jinks in, gives it back to Weghorst. Weghorst just scoops around past Declan Rice and plays it into Eriksen. Again, they keep possession well, Manchester United. I think they do keep possession better when Weghorst is at the top of the formation. Unlike Martial, he doesn't give it away as cheaply as maybe his French counterpart.
That's exactly why Ten Hag puts him in the side. You know, Anthony Martial, in terms of like for like, talent for talent, he's so much better than Weghorst, but in terms of the team, plays much better when Weghorst is in it.
0-0. Here is Eriksen back to Shaw on halfway, wide on the left, a couple of paces in from the left touchline in front of the dugouts is, well, I say in front of the dugouts, is miles away from the dugouts, because there's a huge big claret carpet between where people actually sit and where the technical areas actually are. That is the byproduct, I'm afraid, of having an athletics track underneath where we are inside the London Stadium, but it's a great arena. I mean, I know there's a big distance between where we're sitting here and the pitch, and I know some of the fans don't like that, and it sucks a little bit of the atmosphere every now and again, but I think they've grown slowly, begrudgingly, to enjoy the experiences they've had here.
Sam, you're never 100% convinced me that this is a better place than Upton Park. That was truly iconic, and the atmosphere created there, but you have to move on, and the amount of people that can come into this stadium and what they paid and are paying, I think they'll take that track.
Yeah, it's a bit of a steal, really, isn't it? Just a bit. It's like winning the lottery. Funnily enough, the lottery paid for it. 14 minutes gone, you're listening to Talksport. West Ham United 0, Manchester United 0 in the Premier League on this Sunday evening. If you're just joining us, it's been a really busy day up and down the country. Arsenal beat Newcastle 2-0. The gap to City at the top of the table is now a point, but City have a game in hand and a much better goal difference. But, you know, they're still alive. Scottish Premier League was won earlier today by Celtic, who clinched the title with a win at Hearts. A thrilling afternoon in League One with Ian Danter over on Talksport 2 earlier on, concluded with Plymouth winning the title, Peterborough getting to the playoffs, Derby missing out, MK Dons, Morecambe and Accrington dropping, and Cambridge surviving thanks to a win over Forest Green. Here Manchester United have the ball inside opposition territory. It's with Marcus Rashford chipping the ball wide towards the right hand side. Anthony, the elegant little Brazilian, full of trickery but maybe not as much potency, sets up Eriksen, a right footed shot, and he curls that towards the far post, and it's narrowly over the top of the crossbar. And I have to say, Scott Minto, the way this game is going so far, Manchester United 15 minutes in have carved out 4 decent chances, and once again will be a little bit disappointed that they aren't in front.
Absolutely, after the first couple of minutes this has been all United, and you know what, for Eriksen's technique, that's a really, not a bad miss, but he's got to be hitting the target there. How many times have we said that already with the chances they've created? Really good opportunities in front of goal, at least hit the target. Too easy to play that pass inside, and he tried to whip it to the far post, but it just put too much on it. It's all United at the moment.
Yeah, there is history here for Christian Eriksen. He did score here for Tottenham Hotspur not so long ago. He's looking for his first goal of 2023. That was a good opportunity to get it. Luke Shaw a little bit handsy with Jared Bowen, about 8 or 9 yards short of the halfway line on the right side as West Ham United look at it. And West Ham taking a little bit of a breather and hoping that this gives them an opportunity to get into opposition territory.
It's exactly what they have to do. Somehow win fouls, just pass the ball, take the sting out of this, what has been a really good United start.
Horsman worked wide to Saïd Benrahma, who takes on Wan-Bissaka, gets into the area, plays it to Antonio, a little flick round the back, didn't get any purposeful contact on that, and it was cleared away by Malacia. It would have looked beautiful if it had gone in the end, because of the way that he moved his body and didn't catch it perfectly. It ended up going well wide of goal and looked a bit cumbersome. 0-0 the score. West Ham United, who at the beginning of April had a situation that looked pretty bleak, but they have a habit of pulling out a result of the bag just when they need it, and I think they need it now really. 34 points is not going to be enough. They might need just a point, maybe all 3, and that should be sufficient to stay in the Premier League next year. Bowen has worked it out to Benrahma, wide on the right, cut in by Benrahma flicks into the air off Casemiro. De Gea tries to keep it from going for a corner, succeeds in doing so, and it's cleared away. Chelsea lead Everton by 2-0 in the WSL. Sam Kerr's 10th goal of the WSL season has put Emma Hayes' team 2-0 in front and probably in an unassailable position. Manchester United coming down the left though, with Rashford working onto his right foot and hits the outside of the near post. Well, it was a brilliant little ding infield, just dropped his shoulder and came in on the edge of the area, right-footed rasper in towards the near post, and Fabianski diving towards it. I don't think he was going to get there, and that smacked off the outside of the post.
Well, first of all, it was Weghorst who made that kind of Declan Rice long-busting type of run, 40-50 yards, passed it out. The ball went to Marcus Rashford, who's not just staying up front as a number 9. They really are rotating up front, and it's difficult to pick up for West Ham. This time he picked the ball on the left. It will go down again as not hitting the target, but he was unlucky there hitting the post.
Yeah, really was unfortunate. Marcus Rashford is looking for his 30th goal of the campaign. He's been terrific, he's been brilliant, especially since the World Cup, hasn't he? And he's got 5 goals against West Ham, including the winner back in October and the winner against them last season. Here he is again, holding the ball up well and finding Fernandes. Fernandes is going to smack one from 30 yards. It always looked a very dodgy decision, that, from the minute he picked it up, and I couldn't quite believe that he was going to do it, because he took about 3 or 4 seconds to do it, and in my head I was thinking, no, don't do that, and then he did it anyway, and it went miles wide.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You probably heard my mind. I mean, he's 30 yards out. He hasn't got the ball out of his feet, just to keep it. You know, they've already had a little bit of attack. West Ham have got 5 players back against 2. This is not the moment. Just go, pass it, and something they can create again. They have been doing that.
Benrahma, I'm pleased that now we're working together so much on the Game Day podcast, you think we're telepathic. Quite like that.
Don't read my mind too often, though, please.
don't read mine. Here's Rice over on the in the Manchester United half. He's about 20 paces in front of the centre circle when he sends it wide to Thilo Kehrer, the German international, back to Jared Bowen, and well, West Ham just trying to keep hold of the ball. 19 minutes gone. You are listening to Talksport, and it's with Aguerd forward to Rice and then back to Aguerd once again. Manchester United just sitting off and allowing West Ham to have the ball inside their own half.
But this is what West Ham need to do, Sam, and I don't care if they sit off Manchester United, just pass it around, just take the sting out of the situation, because United have been by far and away the better side, and we talk about Declan Rice and how good he can become. His side are under pressure right now. He needs to somehow help take a bit more of a stranglehold in this game, because as I say, United have been superb.
Yeah, it's Talksport, and we are with West Ham moving down the left-hand side. The ball seemed to go out of play. The referee allowed play on. And it's picked up over on the far side by Benrahma, who looks to twist away from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think we're in a different phase now, so we won't be able to pull it back if anything comes from this. We won't have to anyway, because Paquetá just played it blindly down the left channel. It's gone straight out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And Victor Lindelof just having a word with the referee, Peter Banks. Banks just checking on his whether or not he's okay.
It was well out, Sam.
It was
well out.
Miles out. I mean, we saw it from here.
Yeah.
The linesman's just there. The linesman is at least how much further is the linesman to that ball than we are?
Well, about 300 yards, I think.
I mean, we might as well be on the top of Canary Wharf in comparison to where he is.
But that's a poor decision, and if West Ham had gone on to score the goal, as you say, it's a different phase. If it had been allowed, wow, the controversy on that one.
Pernilla Harder has scored for Chelsea, 3-0. She's actually just come onto the pitch to take over from Sam Kerr, who's had a little bit of an issue. So they brought on Pernilla Harder. At one stage, I'm sure, was voted the best player in the world. She's come onto the pitch. She's only taken a couple of seconds to settle, and she's on the score sheet, and Chelsea are moving up the table and heading towards that top spot. 46 points from 18 games. They've got 2 games in hand over Manchester United women in the WSL this season, and there's 4 points between them. A thrilling climax to what has been a brilliant WSL season, by the way. For a large part of the season, 4 teams have been in a title race. It's been terrific. I think it's probably down to 2 now, Manchester United or Chelsea, and they meet each other next Sunday in the FA Cup final. It's live on Talksport. We'll be there for that one. 21 minutes gone. Manchester United here at the London Stadium, 0. West Ham United 0. Lindelof to Eriksson deep inside his own half of the field, flies it out towards this near side, and Bruno Fernandes takes it on. He runs up against Thilo Kehrer. Kehrer shows him inside. Malacia Then on to Casemiro's 30 yards from goal, but plays it down the left channel, looking for Malacia, but he did it with such fizz and purpose that it was just a little bit too heavy for Tyrell Malacia.
Well, it was so tight that he had to play it really fast, but it's one of those where then just don't try, because it's got to be inch perfect, and it wasn't. Again, I think that's what West Ham want. They're on, I wouldn't say on the ropes, but they're certainly on the back foot a little bit. They want to be able to be organised enough that Manchester United force things. But from United's point of view, if it's not on, just keep going. And they are opening West Ham up. Had 4 really good chances in the opening 15-20 minutes. So just keep doing what they're doing, and you feel that more chances will come.
I had to double check this earlier on today, because it did sort of freak me out a little bit. But defence for Manchester United hasn't been as bad as their attack. In fact, they've had a very good defence over the course of the season in terms of wastefulness. But 32 of their 40 Premier League goals that they've conceded so far this season have been in away games.
Well, it says everything, doesn't it?
Here is Shaw up to Fernandes, and that will give West Ham United hope during the match. Casemiro moves up towards the centre circle. He's a bit behind Wan-Bissaka, adjusts his body, brings it back in field, takes it on the halfway line up to Anthony. Anthony goes back to halfway, and Casemiro into Weghorst, takes care of it really well again. Rice is eluded this time. Wan-Bissaka brings Anthony into play, and he darts up to the angle of the penalty area, tries to play it infield to Weghorst, so Bonner gets there first. There's a little clip by Souček on Weghorst, and then again West Ham can't get it clear, but Antonio does brilliantly. Paqueta takes over. Shaw, superb, read the danger, snuffed it out. Then it goes back to the wide left position, and Manchester United just flex back into shape. Ball picked up by Rice, who dinks it over the top looking for Jared Bowen. Away by Shaw, gives it only to Antonio. Antonio plays it left for Bowen, too heavy, and shouts for some sort of deflection or handball from Antonio, I think. But the ball's already run through to De Gea, and Peter Banks says play on.
Yeah, he was onside as well, wasn't he? Because Malacia dropped right off. So if that had gone to feet, he practically would have had a 1-on-1 with David De Gea, because Malacia wasn't getting across.
Poor ball forward by Mikel Antonio. West Ham have it back inside their own half. That was an opportunity for West Ham, a half chance for them to try and create something. They haven't created too much, actually. Their best chance actually came in the first couple of seconds when Ben Rama should have shot on the volley first time after a good cross from the right-hand side. He didn't. He took too many touches and ended up recycling the ball. Apart from that, very little has been seen of the West Ham United attack away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, there was just that other opportunity where Ben Rama stuck the cross in for Antonio, and I just felt that if Bowen had read the situation at the far post, it would have been a simple tap-in, but Malacia was there.
Weghorst on the edge of the West Ham penalty area has played it to Anthony. Anthony's got it back from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who then in turn has given it back to Anthony. It's come to him left-footed. He strikes the ball goalwards. It's headed into the air by Bonner. It's one of those chances again that was never really going to test Fabianski. It's one back on the near side by Tyrell Malacia. There was a foul by him. He pulled down Paqueta, and as a result, a free kick has gone against Manchester United. It's going to be a free kick about 12 yards inside West Ham territory, wide on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and we talk about the midfield as well, and there's no doubt about it. And Eriksen, Casemiro, Fernandes, even though Fernandes is coming out on the left and Weghorst is dropping in at times, this is a really fluid Manchester United, very impressive. And Souček, Rice and Paqueta, they need to get involved a little bit more. They need to get hold of the ball, need to pass it. You know, you're right, they've looked dangerous in the first couple of minutes, but that final pass wasn't good enough, and that's been the problem for West Ham so far.
United have won 12 of the last 20. They have started to slow up a little bit, squeezed up too. They've become tighter. They conceded less goals recently, and they were unbeaten in 5 games before the 99th minute defeat at Brighton. But the swashbuckling end to goal fests and late comebacks of January and February have been tempered recently, and even the matches they've won have become very tight as well. And the possibility of not reaching the top 4 is alarming, and there's 1 or 2 people that are concerned about it, but a win tonight will calm any of those who feel that the faltering could turn into a giant flop, and it would definitely need a giant flop now. Ben Rama robbing the ball on halfway, running at the United defence, an early shot which catches out De Gea. He makes a massive mistake and it squirms in behind him. Ben Rama takes the applause, steals over to the corner flag on the far side, sliding on his knees. But David De Gea looks to the heavens because he knows he's made a massive error. An early shot from Ben Rama somehow has squirmed past David De Gea from some distance, and against the run of play, West Ham United take the lead. West Ham 1, Manchester United 0.
Massively against the run of play, but the West Ham fans here won't care one bit. Benrahma picks up the ball, it kind of falls to him, and he's got Lindelof there, and it's almost a pass, it's not even a shot, because he's off balance and he knows he's got other Manchester United defenders around him, so he almost just tries to side foot it. I mean, he doesn't even connect with it properly. I just don't know what David De Gea is doing there. His feet fall away from him, and then he's diving, and I'm looking at pictures of Lindelof, who's just seen the ball just bounce over David De Gea's right hand. I mean, that is literally schoolboy stuff. You would not see a schoolboy goalkeeper not making that save. You don't want to see that, but the bottom line is, that's a terrible mistake from what should be a world-class goalkeeper.
Oh, it's a huge, huge mistake. And that is his 6th error leading to a goal since the beginning of last season. And I wonder whether it was just a little kick up just before his hand reached the ball, which took it over his glove, and he didn't see that coming.
But you're right, but his body position lent itself that if something happened slightly odd, he wasn't able to deal with it. It wasn't any power, it was 25 yards out, it wasn't even really in the corner. And yet he kind of slipped and then dived. Not at one point did he look confident that he was going to save it. I feel for him because no one wants to see that, but the bottom line is that's a massive mistake.
It's West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0. And Manchester United, who have had at least 4 very good chances in the opening 27 minutes, find themselves behind to, I think, West Ham's first shot on target in the game. Here are the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get West Ham to win the game at 19-20, Manchester United 14-15, the draw 12-5, all thanks to Betfair, 18+, begambleaware.all. Wow. Manchester United fans have just got a little bit silent behind the goal away to our right.
I think they're stunned, Sam. You know, it's been a really good performance on their side, and then to see that happen, as you say, pretty much it was the first shot on target for West Ham.
1-0. Here is Luke Shaw, who will be hypercritical, I'm sure, afterwards if it stays like this, that the forwards didn't take any of the chances. The problem is when David De Gea makes a mistake, it's very difficult to give him too much criticism, bearing in mind over the last 10 years he's pretty much stopped them from being a lot worse than they have been.
I think it's going to be fascinating to see what's happening next season. I really do.
Because he's not a goalkeeper who's going to lend himself to Erik Ten Hag's style of play, and we've already seen in this game his distribution is not great.
He's given the ball the way already. He's a very good shot stopper, even though obviously he's made a mistake there.
Here on the left-hand side, the ball is with Antonio for West Ham, in towards Bowen, right-footed shot, bobbles up again in front of De Gea, this time he catches it. Took a deflection off Luke Shaw, and he distributes the ball a little bit better this time around, right up towards Fernandes, but Tilo Kehrer saw that coming, got in front of the Portuguese, robbed him, and turns it over, and West Ham have it again. Just a little bit more confidence about West Ham now, roared on by this crowd. There's around about 56,000 of them that are supporting the Hammers today. A small sliver of Manchester United fans away to our right-hand side. As Chelsea go 4-0 up in the WSL with Sophie Ingle just before half-time. And that goal difference is not going to catch Manchester United's, unfortunately, for Emma Hayes' team, but they may catch them in terms of points over the course of the next few weeks. Big few weeks as well to come. Here is Malacia. Back to Luke Shaw. What will Erik Ten Hag be thinking at this stage? Bearing in mind his team have pretty much dominated every statistic apart from the one that really matters.
Yeah, look, you can't legislate as a manager for mistakes, and you know, you don't expect that. I think the David De Gea question is a really interesting one. For me, United need a striker, they need a central midfielder, and they need a centre-back. I don't necessarily think, and it depends how much money they'll cost and what the budget is, that they'll be okay with David De Gea. But I think if they want to play the Erik Ten Hag way, he's not the goalkeeper to do it. So I'm really interested to see what happens.
But bearing in mind that Manchester City needed a new goalkeeper, got the one that was relegated in Germany, yet he's brilliant at what they want him to do, didn't pay a huge amount of money for him. Manchester City needed a striker, got two, didn't really pay a huge amount of money for either of them in Alvarez and Haaland. Do Manchester United need to up their game in terms of scouting and recruitment?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think with Haaland, I think it's only 51 million in terms of the transfer fee, but I would imagine his agent would have got another 50-odd million, and then his wages would be really, really high as well, the way they sort of able to structure the deal. I mean, that's an incredible clause, really.
They would have been in for Manchester United. They couldn't convince him to join the project.
Yeah, but then you look at the football, and then who are you going to join right now, City or United? There's only one winner there.
Here is Anthony trying to get to the left-hand side. Hits the outside of the post with a shot from 25 yards. I think Fabianski may have got a little finger on that. Turned it round onto the post and it goes out for a corner. Another flash shot from the edge of the penalty area. And Anthony, cutting in on that left foot as he so often does, hit that. Actually, I think it may have hit Agard and gone and hit the outside of the post before going out for a corner.
It did, and that was really good play from Anthony, coming inside this time onto his left foot. Really good strike, and yeah, it just clips the heel of Agard. Fabianski was beaten there, hit the post again.
Scored against Nottingham Forest recently, his first Premier League goal. Anthony, ball played out towards the right hand side from the corner. Fernandes, I mean, what was that? I mean, it was the most lazy delivery from Fernandes to the edge of the penalty area, and it's easily cleared by West Ham United.
It was risky as well. You know, if he really had scuffed it, and West Ham would have been on the counter.
Wan-Bissaka's gone down the left-hand side now, and he's beaten the defender, and then the goalkeeper's had to come out, and brilliantly has. Snaffling the ball up at the feet of Wan-Bissaka, who moved into an almost left wing position after the corner, and attacked down the left-hand side. Rashford with a lovely little ball, intricate ball down the left side. Again was beaten by Wan-Bissaka, but it was just a heavy touch which took him into Fabianski. It remains 1-0 to the home team.
Yeah, look, it's really interesting to see what Ten Hag's going to do. I think this is the summer where he's in full control. He has done really well. It's been a massive progression. I do think they will finish in the top four, although I do think they need to watch out for Liverpool at the moment. But the transfer targets, yeah, they need a striker, they need a midfielder, and they need a centre-half.
Anthony, Tyrell Malacia tries to get in front of Antonio. Antonio beats him to the ball, and then he was offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. And free kick is given as a result of that. A little glare from Antonio on this near side after showing real good strength actually to beat Tyrell Malacia to the ball. And there's been another goal in the game at the WSL. Chelsea are now 5-0 up. Jesse Fleming with a goal just before half-time, actually in stoppage time. I mentioned earlier on that there was no way that Chelsea were going to close that goal difference down. Well, they're doing a very good job at trying to do it because they've closed it to just 9 now against Manchester United's 42 plus, their 33. 18 games played, 46 points. Manchester United 50 points from 20. That's at the top of the WSL table. I think the Premier League table is now providing interesting reading for Manchester United fans. Scott Minto, if it stays like this, 63 points they will have, Manchester United, from 34 games. Liverpool will have 62 from 35, but Liverpool's goal difference is significantly better. Here is Ben Rama, onto Paquetá, dispossessed by Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka away, and West Ham have got a lot of players the wrong side of the ball as Manchester United look to escape, and Weghorst tried to tease that ball into Anthony. Rice did well to stop the danger. Here they come again, West Ham with Cresswell, out further wide to Ben Rama, getting towards the edge of the area, right-footed shot which is headed away by Shaw, comes out as far as Souček. He just nudges it out towards the right side. Thilo Kehrer is going to go back rather than forwards, and that Premier League table is a little bit of concern. That goal difference would worry me.
No, it would. It's a point, Sam, without a doubt, and United aren't going to catch up on that. And Liverpool, as I say, I don't think are anywhere near the form they were of last season, but they're finding a way to win games. Leicester away, Villa at home, Southampton away. There's every chance they could get 9 points out of 9, and therefore United need 3 wins. With Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, Fulham at home. You still would fancy them to do it, but 3 out of 5 is a lot easier to do it than 3 out of 4.
Well, I can tell you what, they'll definitely get 3 points. There's a Thursday night, I think.
Don't say it.
At Old Trafford, which is coming up. I've decided not to go to that one.
Not now.
Oh, I forgot yesterday. It was a big win for Chelsea, wasn't there, down at Bournemouth? No, I watched that game actually, and I thought there was a moment in the second half where I thought Bournemouth were going to end up powering away from them because Chelsea's confidence is on the floor really, but actually they benefited from a set piece. Bournemouth have had problems with those over the course of the season, and Badiashile scored a good goal, and then they started to play a little bit with confidence, and it was a good assist actually, a good run and assist from Sterling Sub, João Felix, who scored a very good goal to seal the points, and some good performances. Noni Madueke in particular played well in that game. We've got a delay here because Jared Bowen has been found on halfway, and we're waiting for him to get back to his feet. The referee has just delayed proceedings. I think he's now allowed things to continue. I don't think there was any suggestion of a sending off there, but the VAR was having a good old look at it just in case. We have a free kick just short of the halfway line. You're listening to Talksport. Again, left-footed, strikes the ball firmly out towards the far side. It's a crossfield pass which is headed towards goal by Souček. On the edge of the West Ham penalty area, it's half cleared by Manchester United. Anthony's ploughing a lone furrow going forward, but he's skipped past Cresswell and now he's trying to outpower Rice. He gets to the edge of the area, tucks it back for Wan-Bissaka, gets it back again, Anthony the Brazilian on the far side, the right, then plays it against his compatriot Paquetá. The ball goes over to the corner flag. There was a little nudge, it comes back to him. The referee said play on. Here's Fernandes, edge of the area, tries to slip it into Eriksen's path, inside the box. Bowen getting back and digs it out and manages to clear. Well, the assistant on the far side didn't give a free kick, and the West Ham fans weren't happy about it when the combination of Paquetá and Anthony went close together. There was a little shoulder barge. Actually, Paquetá went into Anthony, and Anthony stood his ground. He then got a lucky rebound off the corner flag and turned it back into the box.
It's not exactly a heavyweight challenge, that, is it? Anthony wins against Paquetá.
You're listening to West Ham 1, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. In your corner throughout your car buying journey, search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Now, what West Ham need to do now, what are we, 37, 38 minutes on the clock, just need to find a way and be very well organised, make sure they can get to half-time, and then the pressure of Manchester United in the second half trying to find a way to win. Then they can play how they like playing, actually, on the counter-attack themselves.
38 gone. Ball slid through by Lindelof, cut out by Rice. Ball worked out wide to Saeed Benrahma, the goal scorer, the man who has managed to pick up his 10th goal of the season. He's hit double figures for West Ham this campaign thanks to that David De Gea error. There'll be a lot of analysis, I think, of that over the course of the next few hours, especially if it's as costly as it could end up being for Manchester United. It's picked up by Rashford, who shoots right-footed and hits the back of the stanchion, and it goes out for a goal kick. But Manchester United's efforts really have been from range.
Well, they have been in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, and that shows a real frustration from United. We know that Marcus Rashford is a great striker with the ball, both dead ball and in open play, but he wasn't even really in a position to score from there, from 30 yards out, to beat Fabianski on that angle. Just keep passing. If it's not on, just keep passing. And just watching a replay of the goal, Ten Hag just head down, and David De Gea can't believe what's happened. It's one of those where you think to yourself, that did not happen.
Well, the away form is dreadful. 1 point from the 8 away games against those in the top 9. And you sort of put a mirror to that and see what happened at Old Trafford. They've taken 19 points at home from those same 8 teams. They're usually pretty good against the teams that are in the bottom half of the table, but look, Manchester United may be just suffering from a bout of a crisis of confidence, bearing in mind they lost late on against Brighton on Thursday night, and the games are coming thick and fast. They don't have to play in this midweek, but they've got a midweek game coming up in the not too distant future, and that'll be live on Talksport. Manchester United against Chelsea on the Thursday night. I think it's the 26th of May, is it?
25th, I think.
25th, possibly. Ball curled down the left side, looking for the run of Rashford. Rashford flicks it into the air, and cross goes again, high up into the evening sky. Still bright blue sky and sunshine over our heads here at the London Stadium. There was a foul there by Thilo Kehrer on Bruno Fernandes. Peter Banks says, come on, all right, that's enough, get up, let's get on with it.
Yeah, just give away little fouls, West Ham, just kill the game, stop it, get to half-time. United want to try and make sure they keep on passing it, play with that high intensity that they did in the first 15 minutes, where they created chances, where they weren't just shooting from 25, 30 yards, they were shooting from 15, 20, and coming very close to the goal as well.
West Ham have had a tough season. I wonder how they will stop Manchester United scoring. Defensively, they were casual at Palace. They kept their concentration in the first half against Manchester City, but switched off from a set piece after half-time. And I remember speaking to David Moyes on Thursday night after that game, and he said to me, he described letting in that goal in those circumstances against Man City as galling. And they want to keep their concentration here as Wan-Bissaka travels down the right side, nudges the ball into Eriksen. Eriksen onto Fernandes, who sends it back to Wan-Bissaka. There's space out wide for Anthony, but he's closed down well by Ben Rama and forced him wide. Anthony goes out and travels back in left-footed. A deep ball towards the far post of Marcus Rashford. He keeps it alive, but he ends up hitting it straight towards his goalkeeper when really it needed to go back across the face of goal. It didn't, and Fabianski snaffled it up once again. It remains West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0 in the Premier League. The goal coming from Saeed Ben Rama after 27 minutes. A shot from a good 27, 28 yards out, which caught David De Gea out as it travelled like a pea roller, a daisy cutter across the floor, and then kicked up at the last, and it squirmed over his glove and into the corner of the net.
Yeah, look, it's a massive mistake, but how are you going to react to it now? That's what United need to do. They've reacted okay. They've not got to the form that they were in the first 15 minutes. You can just see the body language is not quite there.
I just saw the technical director of Manchester United, Darren Fletcher, walk in front of me.
I missed him.
And he's always very polite, and he's a very good bloke, and he's excellent at sort of communicating. But he just gave me a look as he walked past, as if to say, yeah, it's happened again. He's not happy about the fact they've created probably the best of the chances in the first half, yet West Ham score with their only shot on target. Fernandes trying to get in behind the West Ham defence. He's gone down the left-hand side. Out comes Lucas Fabianski and snaffles the ball up once again on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Darren. I've worked with him a few times. Incredibly intelligent, knows football. Interested to see whether he would go into the kind of the coaching, managing side. But he's gone a little bit higher. I think he could do both.
Ball cleared upfield down the left side, looking for Antonio. Takes it into his body, his rather substantial chest that is bulging out of that claret and blue jersey. He loses out to Anthony, and the ball breaks on halfway for Manchester United. Anthony's had quite a few touches in the opening 43 and a half minutes that we've had here. It remains 1-0 to the home team, though. Here is Malacia down the left-hand side. He kept it in, did he? No, the flag has gone up on this near side. It's going to be a throw into West Ham in the right full-back position. I'm sure David Moyes, who succeeded Alex Ferguson as the Manchester United manager in the summer of 2013, but was sacked after just 51 games. I'm quite happy with the scoreline. He's not won any of his last 10 Premier League matches against Manchester United since a victory when he was in charge of Everton 11 years ago. It was a time of change at Manchester United behind the scenes. It was a very difficult time to take over the club, I think. It was on a hiding to nothing from the minute he started, sadly.
Well, it's always one of those, isn't it, where you follow a legend. You never follow Fergie. In whatever sport, work, business, whatever, don't follow Fergie. And unfortunately for David Moyes, he had to do it. He will believe he wasn't given enough time, but he'll also be, as you say, absolutely delighted with his scoreline, because West Ham haven't been the better side. United have been the better side. They've looked the most dangerous. But they're 1-0 up. That's the important thing.
Yep, and we've got 30 seconds before half-time. You're listening to Talksport, and remember tomorrow the conclusions of the League 2 and the Championship seasons on Talksport and Talksport 2, before we bring you live commentary from Nottingham Forest against Southampton at the bottom of the Premier League table. That kicks off 8 o'clock. Game night is back on your radio tomorrow from 6 o'clock, live from the City Ground. Here is Eriksson, wide to the left, taken on by Malacia, into Rashford. The fourth official has added on one added minute at the end of the first 45. Given back to Eriksson, short of halfway. Manchester United do look as if they've just run out of a couple of ideas now. They might need a half-time refresh from Erik ten Hag as the ball is cleared by Rice into the right channel for Bowen to chase. Cross goes Luke Shaw, but he's given it away straight to Paquetá. He's being pursued now by Weghorst, coming back and doing his defensive work. They found Ben Rama again down low to the goalkeeper's left. He's saved by the goalkeeper this time. Did it hit a hand of Lindelof as it came back across the face of goal? Well, the West Ham fans certainly thought it did hit Lindelof's arm. And the referee waves away the protest, and we continue with Fernandes in possession on halfway. Big moment in the contest, because if West Ham were to get a penalty at this stage, then Manchester United would be in real trouble. Ball picked up, play forward towards the edge of the area. Casemiro onto Ericsson. Ericsson inside the box. Lovely buddy swerve. Shoots, takes a deflection up into the arms of the goalkeeper. And the West Ham players surround Peter Banks and ask him to check the monitor. And he is now stopping to check whether there should be a handball, and there should. There should be a handball because he moves his arm towards the ball, Scott Minto. The game has been stopped for half-time, but I think that was a penalty.
Wow, I tell you what, he has lent into that. The only way you can say that wasn't a penalty was because his arms was close to his side, but I'm sorry, he has lent into that, and therefore it's hit his arm, and if he hadn't have done that, it wouldn't have done. Going down the other end, Ericsson, what a wonderful chance, and the first time since the first 15 minutes they were able to pass their way through, and Ericsson should have done better, but that was a penalty.
Look, David Moyes has always been pretty sanguine about his time at Manchester United, but he doesn't mind sticking the knife into them when his chance arrives. And I'll tell you what, he'll be absolutely furious that West Ham haven't been given a penalty right at the end of the first half. It looked a handball against Victor Lindelof. It didn't go to VAR. Peter Banks didn't check the monitor. It wasn't given, and as a result, it's just West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. No changes from either team at the start of the second half, and we are underway now in that second half. And the bad news for Manchester United, Scott Minto, is that they've only managed to score in 2 of the last 10 matches in second halves.
Well, look, stats are there for a reason, but they're also there to try and turn things around. Again, I alluded to it earlier. We were at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where they were 2-0 up and absolutely coasting, and they were very poor in the second half. Now they've got to do the opposite. They've got to find a way. They didn't actually play that bad, and they were the better side.
Oh, they've given the ball away again inside their own penalty area from a goal kick. It's gone towards Bowen, right-footed shot, takes a deflection. David De Gea's going to get up this time and get there. But it was his kick out, trying to play it square to Luke Shaw, and it was just a little bit too heavy, and it went straight through to Antonio, and that immediately sets the wrong tone for the start of the second half from a Manchester United perspective.
Absolutely, there's no real confidence when De Gea has the ball at his feet that it's going to be zipped in the way that sort of an Alisson or an Edison or a Ramsdale. And it's not what United want. As I say, in the first half they were the better side. They created more chances. They should have scored. Their shooting boots weren't on. They should have hit the target more often. But when you make a mistake like that, and again, such a passionate crowd suddenly behind the West Ham players now, where they're very quiet before that goal, and the players themselves, West Ham players, they lift themselves up 5 or 10%. Difficult to turn things around, but United have to.
Manchester United in white shirts, black shorts and white socks, attacking the goal away to our right, where their supporters are in the Sir Trevor Brookings stand. The home team, West Ham United, who have the lead thanks to that goal from Saïd Benrahma in claret shirts and blue shorts, attacking the Sir Bobby Moore stand away to our left-hand side. And Rice combining with Antonio, disrupted by Lindelof and Casemiro. The ball breaks to Anthony on halfway, doesn't deal with the ball, take care of the ball as well he might, and Paquetá gets away from his compatriot Casemiro and then runs at Wan-Bissaka. There's space out wide in the left wing position for Benrahma, who manages to get a cross in towards the near post, away by Lindelof and out on this near touchline. Fabianski is the West Ham goalkeeper. Kera, Ogbonna, Aguerd and Cresswell the back four, Souček, Rice and Paquetá, and then it's Bowen, Antonio and Benrahma up top. And United have got De Gea in goal. Wan-Bissaka is the right back, Lindelof, Shaw and Malacia, Casemiro, Fernandes and Ericsson, then Anthony, Weghorst and Rashford. And it has been quite fluid in terms of that front battalion for Manchester United, almost with Weghorst playing in the 10, Fernandes out one side and Anthony out the other. And here is Antonio in the left wing position for West Ham United, down towards the edge of the penalty area. He swivels one way, gets the cross in, takes a block from Wan-Bissaka and goes behind and away for a corner kick to West Ham at the start of this second half. We had a little bit of guidance about the penalty decision, and that is that the reason the penalty wasn't given is because the point of contact is within the body line.
I did say that was the only way they could try and justify it. I don't agree with that, but if that's the law and that's what they're saying, okay.
48 gone. 1-0 to West Ham, who have a corner. Right-footed towards the far post. There was a push inside the penalty area. It drops inside the box, comes out to Ben Rama, who threatened to hit it. Didn't turn back infield. Now does hit it left-footed. Smacks into the back of Wan-Bissaka. Nudged forward. Falls towards Souček, who smacks it. Saved by De Gea. Comes back towards again. He hits it. Blocked by Malacia. Out for a corner. Good start to the second half for West Ham.
It's been a very good start, hasn't it? Again, you were expecting United to come out in the second half and really go for it, but no, they're on the back foot at the moment.
Whose body line was it in?
Look, we can talk more about it, but he's leant away, and if it hadn't have hit the arm, it would have gone past him.
Well, exactly. 03717 223344. Adrian's going to take calls straight after the end of this game. Ball curled in towards the far post, looking for Aged, running narrowly over the top of his hair follicles and dropping behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Manchester United trailing to West Ham by 1-0. The goal scored by Saeed Ben Rama, his 10th of the season, after 27 minutes here. A error from David De Gea from the shot, which bobbled over his hand. And as a result of that, Liverpool fans starting to lick their lips about the possibility of a late season showdown with Manchester United. Casemiro onto Anthony. Wan-Bissaka, ball bobbles up to Casemiro, stabs it forward over towards the right hand side. Again stops Rashford from chasing it, goes to Fabianski on the cusp of the 6-yard box, and he smacks it high, drives it down the field.
Well, this could be a wonderful weekend for Liverpool, couldn't it? You know, them winning, United if they do lose, and with Newcastle losing as well.
Anthony works it wide, out towards the right. Wan-Bissaka with a chance to steer it in towards the edge of the penalty area. Again, Anthony not the best with it. Left-footed drive hits the West Ham United clutch of bodies who were back helping out. Now there's a chance to break, and look at the space over on the far side for Antonio. Blocked by Malacia. David De Gea stops it from going for a corner. It's out for a throw-in on the far side. Manchester United not taking care of the ball properly, and in particular Anthony had two options there. He made two mistakes. He could have played it to his left or his right where there were white shirts in better position than him. Both times he chose the wrong option.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course what you want to do when you have to make sure you do is what if we lose the ball and they go on the transition and suddenly Ben Rama's free, and it was 3-on-3 there. If it had been a better pass, then it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened.
Throwing over on the far side, and the ball is tossed in towards the near post, headed away into the air. Souček, there's a mistake by De Gea, scooped in by Mikel Antonio. The flag has gone up on the far side. The free kick has been given against West Ham. David Moyes can't understand why, but David De Gea went up, went down very quickly, and Declan Rice is pleading the innocence of the West Ham team as the ball went up. There's not much in that. There's not much in that at all. As the ball comes over, challenging for the ball was De Gea and Antonio. The arm did go out, but it wasn't that prohibitive for David De Gea, who was weak in his attempts to try and punch. The ball dropped inside the 6-yard box. Antonio managed to hit it in. The referee has denied any VAR involvement, and he's ruled out the goal, and it remains 1-0. Scott Minto.
Well, I'll tell you what, his arm is up and they can get away with that. But I mean, David De Gea,
he's soft as a marshmallow, isn't it?
That's been insulting to marshmallows. Honestly, I mean, this is a nightmare game for De Gea, and in terms of the longer term, this is the type of game that Ten Hag will say, I cannot have him as my Manchester United goalkeeper.
Sets a terrible tone.
Absolutely, he's got to be stronger there. You know, okay, you've got a weakness on your feet when the ball's, you're trying to pass it out, and that's not going to change overnight. He should be working that on a daily basis, hour after hour, trying to make better. It's something as simple as that. You want your goalkeeper to be strong, and he was completely bullied, and it wasn't even as if Antonio really went into him. He just stuck his arm up, and because he put his arm up rather than maybe just his backside or even the shoulder, that's then given the referee the ability to say that's a foul.
Well, West Ham haven't been relegated since Avram Grant was in charge. Robbie Keane, Scott Parker, Matt Upson, the Bournemouth manager Gary O'Neill, and Talksport's Carlton Cole were in the squad that season. They got 33 points that year. You needed 40 points to stay up. But they won't need that many, but they could be a much greater deal closer to their target had that have been given. And Erik ten Hag has been a little bit fortunate with a couple of big decisions in this game. The handball, which could have gone against them, the foul, which could have gone in West Ham's favour rather than in David De Gea's. And I tell you what, they're rocking a little bit, Manchester United. And West Ham could already have been on the path to safety. They've been given a few lifelines. Manchester United, will they take the opportunities that have come their way, grasp it, and turn this into a plus for them? Anthony Martial about to come on.
Yeah, he's got to make changes. It's just not happening in the second half. You wait to see if there's a reaction from what happened in the first. There isn't one, and he has to make a change. But I'll tell you what, West Ham are 35 minutes plus injury time away from staying up.
Yeah, they haven't won very often against Manchester United in the league. Manchester United have got a very, very good record against West Ham. Can they come back and extend that record? I think they go behind in the game against them last year and then ended up winning 2-1. You're listening to West Ham 1, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports 18 plus, stream via the internet, terms apply.
A lot of football still to be played here in this game, and you do get the feeling that Ten Hag will try and be proactive, making substitutions. United players will be better. They haven't started the second half well at all, but they will create at least one, if not 2, 3, 4 chances.
Remember there was late drama in that game last year. And Mark Noble had a penalty saved by David De Gea in the 95th minute. Here come Manchester United on the attack. And Rashford has worked it out wide towards Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's galloping forward now. Weghorst is arriving edge of the penalty area, right-footed shot, spilt by Fabianski, who saves it, but there was no one on rushing to take advantage of the rebound, and it's picked up by Lucas Fabianski and it will be cleared away. West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. Weghorst with a very good effort actually from the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, he's got to aim it just outside the post for it to come in. He aimed it, it was almost just in the side netting, went into Fabianski, who fumbled it really, but it was a simple save for him.
Well, Manchester United have already beaten West Ham twice this season. West Ham haven't beaten Manchester United in the Premier League since a 2-0 victory at the London Stadium in September 2019. Aaron Cresswell and Andrei Yarmolenko were on the score sheet that day. Manchester United look as if, unless things change, they are going to suffer another defeat against West Ham, because they haven't had too much in the way of attacking thrust at the start of this second half. We're approaching the hour mark and they are about to make a change. Shaw into Casemiro, wide on the left-hand side, Tyrell Malacia. He runs forward, tries to get at Thilo Kehrer, goes on the outside, but he doesn't have any support, Tyrell Malacia. He's then just bumped into the ground after going too softly to the floor and picking up the ball. I think actually there's a problem here in terms of the way that Manchester United have sort of approached the game, because Bruno Fernandes wide on the left-hand side actually means that Malacia, when he's going forward, has got no one to help him out. He's got no support. Fernandes keeps getting sucked into the middle. As a result of that, that left strip of the field, which is usually fertile ground for them, not working. Now, they are making a change. Martial's going up through the middle, Fernandes is going into the 10 and Rashford's going wide left.
Well look, we said at the start, didn't we, that we thought that Rashford would start on the left, and Keirer's got to be very, very careful with that sort of pace in behind. With Bruno Fernandes, I can tell you now as a fullback, 100 times out of 100 I'd rather come up against Bruno Fernandes than Marcus Rashford, because I know he's not going to go in behind me, he's not going to take me on, he's going to want to go inside. So it's been an absolute field day for Kehrer. He's absolutely loved it. Now they've got Anthony Martial, who needs to step up, needs to prove way too late that he's a Manchester United player, but certainly can help Manchester United today. And now you've got Rashford on the left, and now Kehrer has a battle on his hands. So mentally now he's thinking, right, I've got to be very careful, because this is one of the best players in one of the best teams counter-attacking in the country.
1-0 to West Ham United, live on Talksport, and it's the Premier League tonight. Tomorrow the focus will be on the EFL and the conclusion of the League One and the Championship season. What a dramatic day it could be. Benrahma down the left hand side, guiding it back to Cresswell into Rice, and then through to Manchester United players to Cresswell. His low cross into the box, hits Lindelof, comes out on the near side, picked up by Benrahma. They recycle it again. Rice wants it inside the area. He's got it inside the area. He goes into the 6-yard box, wanders through the box, plays it through a congested penalty area, and how there was no one there to finish that off. The West Ham fans will never know. It was such a good little jink and a delivery into the area which was begging to be smacked home, and no one was there to apply the finishing touch.
Showed fantastic composure because he could have whipped that across the box first time. He didn't. He realised he could have gone past the player, went past another, and then the cutback, and you're hoping someone's on the end of it, but in the end he cut it back too much.
Wow. Talksport live at the London Stadium on a night where West Ham United could be throwing a spanner into Manchester United's Champions League hopes. Bowen running at Shaw, keeps hold of the ball and drags them up the pitch onto Paquetá, who shoots down the middle of the goal, but it's over the top of the crossbar and it goes away for a goal kick away to our left hand side. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, Laura Woods and Dean Saunders will be reflecting on what has been a thrilling week of football in the EFL and WSL plus the Premier League. They'll be taking your calls and going through a breakfast buffet of sport from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Make sure you join them. You can listen on the app or you can listen on Talksport too. At 10 o'clock, White and Jordan will have Martin Keown alongside them as they go through all of the big talking points from the weekend. On Talksport 2 at the same time, the conclusion to League 2 with Tranmere against Northampton. Northampton are not going to throw away automatic promotion again, are they? Nah, it's not going to happen. But it goes up against them, don't you? You know who could steal a place? Stockport County. Come on, the Hatters.
You've been following them all for a couple of seasons now, haven't you?
Yeah. Here is Casemiro on the left side of the centre circle, onto Rashford. The ball's going to break to Martial. Martial, who's on the left flank, plays it into Malacia. Comes back to Casemiro. Martial, 5 yards outside the box, then onto Casemiro, Malacia, Rashford. It's a very tightly packed edge of the box, which West Ham at the moment are getting away with. That was a swipe by Rashford on Declan Rice. It's going to be a free kick.
Well, again, this now suits West Ham and the way it's playing, because Manchester United have to try and break them down. They have to try and play further forward, which suits West Ham and their counter-attack. We've got two teams that are more comfortable sitting back and then counter-attacking, but because West Ham are 1-0 up, they're the ones who can be patient without the ball and say, okay, come and break us down, and the moment we win the ball back, we've got Ben Rama on one side, we've got Jared Bowen on the other, we've got Declan Rice who can run 50-60 yards with the ball. So at the moment, even though Manchester United are trying to create these chances, it's West Ham are in control.
Chelsea leading in the WSL by 5-0. Earlier on today, Celtic won the Cinch Premiership in Scotland. Posh got into the playoffs. Accrington were relegated. Cambridge survived. It's been a massive weekend. Here is Cresswell inside the Manchester United half. Plays it through the centre circle. Ball is back to Aguerd and then on to O'Connor. O'Connor trying to turn and play it back to his goalkeeper, Lucas Fabianski. On Martial applying half-hearted pressure. The ball's clipped into midfield, chested down beautifully by Paquetá, who's got away from Eriksson. He plays it wide to the left. Antonio now joining the attack, gets into the penalty area down the left side, looks for a cross, steered away by Lindelof, comes back to Paquetá, left side, dribbles, chips it, far post, Souček into side netting. And a little bicycle kick to try and outfox David De Gea from a delicate Paquetá delivery, but it started with him taking the ball down on his chest, getting away from Eriksson, evading the Dane, producing a cross, and then Souček on the volley. Well, he wasn't too far away from hitting the inside of the post.
Yeah, I just thought the angle was too tight. He should have played it inside first time for Ben Rama, who, if the ball had come to him, would have been 6 yards out in front of goal.
Talksport live at the London Stadium. Manchester United looking to try and find an equaliser. Fernandes trying to get it through to Eriksson. Cut out once again by West Ham. Wan-Bissaka's got it back now. Played back to Lindelof. Just in front of the centre circle, Malacia clips it towards Fernandes, who right-footed, air shots. Comes back towards him again, into the 6-yard box, away by Aguerd, forward by Wan-Bissaka, into the air by Souček. Martial trying to hold it up, Eriksson can't get there, brilliant defending by Kira. Back to Lindelof, who wanders forward, plays it left, onto Martial. Left side of the area is Rashford. He takes on Kerenau, comes infield, Souček swivels, gets it away. Eriksen into the box, back towards Martial, given away cheaply. Eriksen's got it back again. It's all Manchester United on the edge of the box, harassing, causing problems, hounding West Ham United. On to Martial, into Casemiro, inside the area, goes down, keeps the ball alive. It's loose and Souček's got it. He sends it wide to Bowen, and now there might be an escape on for West Ham United. Oh, Antonio, you beauty. Lovely little turn and swivel, and he's powered into the opposition half. He's brought down by Wan-Bissaka, who's going to be booked. Well, it wasn't the denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity because there were other defenders present, but it was cynical, it was naughty, it was nasty. It was a yellow card.
Yeah, yellow card, not a red. But first of all, I'd just like to go back to the way that Kerr and Souček just dealt with Marcus Rashford. Really good 2-on-1 situation. That's what you have to do. If you come inside, you want your centre midfielder to come out and help you. Then they were able to pass the ball out. But what pace, power, but also skill from Mikel Antonio there. And I tell you what, Wan-Bissaka, if he hadn't have made that, that would have been interesting. That could have developed into a 2-on-1 for West Ham.
Yeah, and if he had just managed to get the ball out before that ball had been swiped away from him, there was every chance that West Ham United were going into a 2-goal lead. West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. Some will argue they should have that advantage because they didn't get a penalty and they had a goal disallowed, which was controversial to say the least. And there's 25 minutes left to go. And the ball is just right of centre at the feet of Thilo Kehrer, who's going to take this set piece. He delays and then sends it towards the far post. There's a collision involving two West Ham players that go to ground. It comes to Benrahma, recycles it. Antonio with a header down. De Gea was absolutely nowhere. He looked bamboozled by the whole event, and eventually someone in white took charge of the situation and cleared it.
He's just got no presence in that 6 yard and the sort of 12-yard area where the crosses come in.
Here is Cresswell with a deflection in towards the near post. He grabs hold of this one high into the sky and bowls it out to Fernandes, who immediately sweeps it towards the near side, but Rice intercepts. Benrahma comes forward, and West Ham are on the front foot, and Cresswell's been sent away down the left side. There's 3 to aim at in the box. It's deep towards the far post, over Antonio's head. Paquetá reaches it, turns it back towards the edge of the area where Rice is waiting for it. Instead he shoots towards the far corner, takes a deflection. Doesn't think of West Ham player and goes behind wide of the goal. West Ham have been the better team in the second half.
Look, I'd even go a little bit further back. We talk about goals change games. Manchester United are far and away the better side up until 1-0 on 27 minutes. Since then, West Ham have looked really comfortable, and Man U have just looked shell-shocked. They've not been able to play with the intensity they did at 0-0. And Aid said earlier about this sort of away form of United. This is what makes a top team. Away from home, 1-0 down, still have the character to come back and win it.
Well, let's find out if they have. 67 on the clock. Here's Rashford down the left side. On the overlap is Malacia. He'll pull this ball through the penalty area. The flag has gone up, it's gone behind. Fernandes didn't get it into the goal anyway. It's going to be a free goal kick away to our right-hand side. Big moments this for Manchester United, who have been posting results in the large. They've done it without their first-choice centre-backs. Ten Hag probably deserves a bit of credit for that, but they've won 11 of their 13 matches against the bottom 8 before tonight. They won't want to drop points here, not just because it causes them problems in the league table, but it does sort of undermine some of the progress that has been made. Do they have to finish in the top 4 to say that they've had a brilliant season, Erik ten Hag?
To say they had a brilliant season, yes. To say they've had a good... I think whatever happens, you can see progression, whether they finish in the top 4 or not. But now they've been in the top 4 for so long, they have to do it. They have to see it out. You know, I talked about Liverpool being way off the side that they've been of recent years, and certainly last season. They're finding a way to win, and that's what top teams do. Even if you're not playing well, you find a way to win. They need to find a way to not lose this first and foremost.
Here is Fernandes inside the centre circle, travelling over halfway as Manchester United come on another attack. Martial's been played into the penalty area, but he used his arm to nudge Kehrer off the ball. It was centralised for Anthony to pop into an empty net. It won't count. Peter Banks blows the whistle. It's a free kick to West Ham United. Manchester United started the year in blistering form, great form. They won 24 of the 35 games since the World Cup, but a lot of the defeats have been recent. Maybe as a result of playing more games than anybody else in Europe's top 5 leagues and not having the depth of squad required. They're going to play 62 matches this season, and for context only played 49 last season.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It really does. You know, and also when the pressure, you know, squeaky bum time, business end of the season, whatever you want to call it, this is the moment where mentally as well as physically you see out a season, and it's what defines your season as well.
Sabitzer and Sancho, is that down there, getting ready and stripped for action for Manchester United, who have made one change already. They've taken off Wout Weghorst for Anthony Martial. Shaw into Casemiro across to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka plays it on to Anthony travels back towards the halfway line, gives it to Wan-Bissaka on this near side. He moves infield and lays it off into Casemiro, back to Anthony once again. He clips the ball to the far side. Rashford has to be athletic to get on the end of it. Then it's on to Eriksen. Eriksen looks up, gives it to Anthony. Anthony again plays it in field, finds Martial. Wide it goes once more. Manchester United just circulating the ball on the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Two banks of four in front of Fabianski's goal. Back to Christian Eriksen, plays it against the shins of Rice, who's quick to close him down. Malacia's got it. Out on the left-hand side, Rashford. Into Martial. Back to Rashford once again. He's forced outside the penalty area. Keeps the ball moving. Fernandes round the corner. Oh, Casemiro, what was he doing? Stepped on the ball, gave it away. And it breaks into the left full-back position, and Cresswell will smack upfield. Mistake by Paquetá. Collected by Casemiro. Back with Eriksen, then Casemiro again, bending the ball towards Anthony Martial. Always looks second favourite for that. Didn't show the hunger and the presence required to go and get it. Rashford's trying to do that, getting out towards the far side. Kehrer gets there first, nudges it back to Fabianski, and it's smacked upfield. And there's Antonio again, and Luke Shaw this time manages to snaffle the ball from him. Bowen being a pest, and then Paquetá charging down and stopping the clearance. It breaks into United territory, but Shaw sees it back to David De Gea. They've been so good, West Ham, since scoring that goal.
They really have. Got to give a word to Mikel Antonio as well. He's struggled a bit at times this season. I tell you, when he's on his game, he's almost unplayable.
It's best ever all competitions goal total for West Ham this season, 13. Here is Ogbonna, high into the air. Benrahma gets in his way, almost gives it back to Wan-Bissaka inside the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka went down. There's a few sort of glances. The ball was eventually cleared towards the halfway line, but no real purpose. Paquetá holding on to it, being followed right out by Shaw. And they've turned the ball over now, West Ham, brilliantly. Benrahma has sent it down the left-hand side for Rice, and they're on the charge. Rice moving towards the edge of the area, cuts in field, opens his body up, shoots, takes a deflection and goes out on the far side. It's a corner. Brimming with confidence, and in a period in which they are dominating the game defensively and offensively, West Ham United, if they were to get a second goal here, would take this game away from Manchester United.
Absolutely, and that's why Ten Hag is going to make more changes now, because he's made one change, it's not made any difference. Since that goal, the game has completely turned around, and you're absolutely spot on, Sam. Defensively and offensively, West Ham by far the better side right now.
There's two changes incoming on Talksport. But first of all, corner, which is headed away at the near post. Comes back to Rice. Sends it out towards Kehrer. Kehrer, who's 20 yards from the edge of the area, sends it into the near post. Rashford heads it behind, and it's away for another corner kick. What are these changes going to do for Manchester United? Sancho and Sabitzer?
Well, they're just going to add something different in terms of, you know, pace, intensity. They're going to ask different questions of the defenders. I know from a West Ham defence point of view, I wouldn't want anything to change right now, so it'll be going through their minds.
Corner, deep, it's over the head of goalkeeper, who's fumbled it again, kept alive. Referee's played on despite the fact that he's on a crumpled heap in the floor. He's got back up now as it's gone to Benrahma into the near post. It's just about away by Malacia, and it's out on this near side. Another mistake from David De Gea. A back heel into Paquetá, onto Benrahma. Benrahma looks to try and take on Anthony on the outside, gets past Eriksen, then into the box, stands it up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Again, they can't clear Manchester United. Rice has got it. West Ham dominating the ball now, sending it brilliantly down the left-hand side with a little bit of trickery from Rice in towards the near post. Sotan with a header. Offside flag is up, and before West Ham can celebrate, they are denied a chance to express their joy. But it was terrific football. It was terrific football. Keep a keen eye, just in case. You never know. Yeah, offside.
Just. And more by luck than judgment, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you what, again, we talked about Declan Rice pre-match. He is now running the show. He really is. And he knows when to pass, when to run. He just kept hold of it, ran with it 10 yards, then laid it out to the left, and the ball came in, goal. Unfortunately, the Souček just went a little bit too early there, but this is brilliant from West Ham now.
Another change from Erik ten Hag. Off comes Anthony and on comes Jadon Sancho. Anthony's furious, by the way. He ain't happy at all. Do you think that maybe instead of bringing Martial on, Erik ten Hag could have just changed his tactics slightly and pushed Rashford out to the left-hand side and Weghorst as the point man and kept with the same formation for just a little bit longer? Same personnel a little bit longer.
Yeah, it absolutely could have changed it, and because it wasn't working clearly out on the left. I talked about how Fernandes, from a fullback's point of view, you'd love to come up against someone like him. Excellent technical player, but he's not going to beat you in behind. Rashford, I can understand them wanting to be in sort of further forward as well, but it wasn't really happening. And we know that Weghorst, okay, he's not going to run the West Ham defence, but still got that physical presence, technically decent on the ball. It would have been worth a try for 5 or 10 minutes, because he's so disappointed in Martial in the Manchester United shirt, and today's been no different.
Here is Rashford trying to nudge the ball into the left corridor, looking for Sabitzer. Pernilla Harder has scored again for Chelsea, who lead 6-0 now in the WSL. Their goal difference now is 35 plus 35. That's 7, I think, now. They've closed the gap to. In terms of goal difference, there's 4 points between them and Manchester United at the top of the table. But all the eyes are going to be drawn to the Premier League table, I think, at this moment in time, because the way it looks right now is that Manchester United will have 63 points from 34, and Liverpool in 5th position, 1 place below them, 62 points from 35. At the bottom of the table, West Ham, I think, will probably feel safe, not as houses, but safe-ish, 37 from 35, a 7-point gap to Nottingham Forest, who are 18th in the Premier League.
Sam, 37 points will be enough. I'm telling you now, if they win this game, 15 minutes plus injury time, they will be staying up. Okay, mathematically no, but you're asking for other teams to do something they haven't done all season, and more than 1, more than 2. But in terms of Manchester United, you can throw in Newcastle United in that as well. They're only 2 points ahead of Manchester United.
All out on this near side, and it's going to be West Ham United throw. You'll be part of a West Ham squad that got relegated with 42 points.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I thought you were going to say part of the West Ham side that finished 5th.
I already mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, absolutely, and that's still, I think, the record of a team going down with the amount of points. You know, boy, do we have some players in there. Di Canio, Joe Cole, Mickey Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, David James, Trevor Sinclair, Stevie Lomas, Ian Pearce. I could name 15.
You almost did. West Ham won Manchester United. This is Talksport.
We needed all 15 on the pitch at times.
There's 13 minutes to go. Scott Minto, Sam Matterface here at the London Stadium as Manchester United come forward again. West Ham leading. And the ball is on the near side, the United right. A little pop into Rashford inside the penalty area. Right-footed shot high towards the goalkeeper's near post. Flicked over the top by Fabianski. Should never have been able to get the shot in, really. But he wriggled away from Aaron Cresswell and just about managed to fire a shot. And boy, when he fired that shot, did he hit it with some venom? It goes out for a corner.
Yeah, got to mention Nigel Winterburn as well there, by the way. But what a player he was.
Anybody else?
No one else. I mean, that's what United were doing in the first 15 minutes, playing good, incisive first-touch passing.
Low corner in towards the near post to Sabitzer. Fernandes. Sabitzer again. Jinks it towards Martial. Headed by Lindelof. In towards Wan-Bissaka, who gets punched in the face by Fabianski, who came out. And that was a little bit careless. And immediately the referee stops play and decides to bring on both sets of medical teams, because that looks very uncomfortable for I think is it Aguerd and Wan-Bissaka, who are down inside the penalty area. It might be Souček, but certainly 2 of them are on the floor needing serious treatment, because they were caught, I think, with a clash of heads and with a punch from Fabianski. Is Souček and Wan-Bissaka. I mean, the goalkeeper came flying out like Superman and got nowhere near it.
He did. It was a Superman pose, wasn't it? And I'm still not quite sure who he actually connected with. Maybe even both. But Yeah, you've got to be careful in these situations. Referee absolutely spot on. It's a head injury, stop the game, both physios on coming quickly. There may just be a couple of minutes because they're not getting up anytime soon, are they?
No, both medical teams are on, and there are 2 stretchers on, and Erik ten Hag looks a little bit shell-shocked down away to our left-hand side. He's just called for Diogo Dalot to come and make a change, and it looked like they are going to switch out Aaron Wan-Bissaka. The 4th official on the near side has just been asked the question, Paul Tierney, by Erik ten Hag. He wouldn't be asking for someone to look at the video to see whether or not that was careless from Fabianski, would he?
He has to go for it. No. I mean, he may be asking for it, but with the decisions we've seen not overturned tonight, I'd be incredibly shocked as well as surprised that it does somehow result in a penalty here.
Looks like someone is applying stitches down there. Best wishes to both. It looks like Flynn Downs is going to come on for West Ham, and Diogo Dalot on for Manchester United to replace Thomas Souček and also to replace the injured Wan-Bissaka. Tomorrow morning on Virgin Radio Breakfast, by the way, from 6:30, Tom Allen is sitting in for Chris Evans on this big bank holiday weekend. But Chris will be back over the course of the next week, 6:30, usually Monday to Friday, your weekday mornings. And you can listen to Chris Evans via the Virgin Radio app, which you can download from the website. You can get it on DAB Digital Radio. Graham Norton at the weekends, 9:30 on Virgin Radio. And guests on the Chris Evans breakfast show this week include Jack Whitehall. Notice he's grown his hair long as well. Must be in style.
What are you looking at there?
I don't know. Currently West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. And for the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting coverage of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get West Ham to win the game at 3-1 on Manchester United 29-10. The draw 14-1. It's all thanks to Betfair. 18+ BeGambleAware.org. Still some degree of concern about these 2 players, Thomas Souček and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who have gone down inside the 6-yard area after a collision, which also involved the goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski. Peter Banks is taking his time over allowing this game to restart. Wan-Bissaka is back up again, and still on the floor Souček, who often gets involved in these sort of war wound situations, getting slowly to his feet as well. Flynn Downs has sat back down again. I can't see Diogo Dalot now either. He's not standing up, getting ready. Oh, he's over in the far corner, just going through his final preparations. There's quite a lot of blood at the back of the head of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who looks like he's been stitched up from the, if I can give you a sort of, not his temple, but go about 3-4 inches back from that, and that on the right back corner of his head is where he's been stitched up because he's had a major collision. Now I can't see where the affected area on Thomas Souček's head is. Oh, it's left temple. Big slab of Vaseline trying to stop the wound from bleeding. Wan-Bissaka's had to change his shirt. And we'll tell you that there's been another goal for Chelsea. Erin Cuthbert, 7-0 now. They lead against Everton. Everton 6 in the league before today. Chelsea steamrolling them, and it's going to be 7-0. Another bit of Vaseline's out again, trying to stop the Wan-Bissaka wound from bleeding. He wants to continue. Wise or unwise?
Well, it's a difficult one to answer that, isn't it? I mean, you know, if you want to play safe, then they both should come off. Blood's coming, and if it continues to come, then they have to come off.
There's no strapping on their heads either, which I find a bit strange. It's where they could probably do with a little bit of that now, just to ensure that the wound doesn't open again, because they will be involved in aerial collisions between now and the end of 90 minutes.
Both players will, and certainly Souček will, in the heart of that midfield, dropping off. Crosses will come in.
Well, West Ham's defensive deficiencies shown up at Selhurst Park, but they haven't wobbled yet tonight. The average number of points to stay in the league is 35. They'll have 37 at the conclusion of this game. David Moyes told me on Wednesday evening at the Etihad Stadium he was confident that his team would get the desired number of points between now and the end of the season. They're going to get them before the end of the week. And Manchester United are going to be the ones looking over their shoulder. It means that West Ham can look forward to that Conference League semi-final with just a little bit more enthusiasm, I think, knowing that they posted this result tonight, if it stays this way.
Absolutely, and what David Moyes is able to do is really gauge, who's not quite 100% fit. Look at the red zone, who's close to there. The bottom line is, I still think the most important thing is to stay in the Premier League. A lot of West Ham fans will probably disagree with me because it's a chance of winning a cup and especially a European competition, but I think the Premier League is absolutely key. But if they were to get a win today and 37 points, that will be enough, and then he can start resting a few players ahead of the Europa League game.
Jadon Sancho for Manchester United looking for an equaliser with 6 minutes plus added time to play, and there will be at least 5 or 6 minutes of added time still to play, so we're probably still looking at 12 minutes here. The ball with Luke Shaw, short of the 18-yard box, nudged into Casemiro and Lindelof, and then out towards the right, and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka tries to get it beyond Benrahma, can't do so. Benrahma wins it. Wan-Bissaka takes a charge and wins it back again. Paquetá scurries towards the near touchline, gets beyond Fernandes, and then wins the throw-in down inside West Ham's half of the field. 6 minutes to go before the end of the game. Benrahma's going down now. Maybe just a little bit of time wasting from Benrahma. Well, there isn't much clarity about how much Manchester United are going to be able to spend in the summer. I mean, no one's really sure of what's going to happen next. I read today that Jim Ratcliffe is now going to take full charge of Manchester United should his bid be successful. But I suppose not even Richard Arnold, the CEO, can provide any clarity of what's going to happen in the summer until they know who's going to be running the joint, because he doesn't even know if he's going to have a job by the time we get to the end of the window. Here is Sancho trying to find Sabitzer, who's darted towards the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's cleared away over on the far side by Kerr. There's going to be a change here. Pablo Fornals coming on for West Ham United. Throw-in is short into Martial. Martial plays it left. Sancho has it. Tries to wander centrally, plays it in towards the 18-yard box. Rashford chasing, harassing Rice, who's under a bit of pressure but manages to clear beautifully. He's played very well again, Declan Rice. Brilliantly. Oh, that's a mistake by Lindelof, and it's been nabbed by Paquetá. He's got space on the near side for Benrahma, and he ran into a cul-de-sac down the right side instead. On the left, Benrahma was in a continent of space, but instead he went down the tightest gap and couldn't squeeze beyond it. And Manchester United turned the ball over and get away with one. Sancho centrally plays it wide towards Fernandes, a left-footed cross deep towards the far post, header across the face of goal. It drifts past the left-hand upright, drops behind, and more relief for West Ham United. 1-0 they lead.
They certainly do, and they have been the better side over the whole 85 minutes so far. And look, it was a 3-on-2, but what I would say is Paquetá was up against the two best defenders that Manchester United have in Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And Luke Shaw did really well in the end.
Benrahma is coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Pablo Fornals. And I think that's Diego Dallo who's about to come on. And I wonder whether or not it's a change for Aaron Wan-Bissaka that is going to be made. Fred is coming on as well here. So two late changes. Now, will the Wan-Bissaka one be a concussion substitute, therefore they won't end up having to use their last substitute up? We'll see. Now, you are listening to West Ham 1 Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. In your corner throughout your car buying journey, search Car Finance 24/7 today. Good performance by West Ham United, especially since they went a goal in front. It is Wan-Bissaka who comes off, Dallo on, and Fred comes on for... who's that? Tyrell Malacia.
Yeah, I understand that. We could be going 3 at the back, push an extra player further forward. Sure, he can't go left back.
But I can't work that out immediately in my head what that formation is, because there's not enough defensive players on the field to play now. Is that Casemiro's going to centre half? Yes, he is. Casemiro going in alongside Lindelof, and then Dallo going, Shaw going to left back, and Dallo going to right back.
Yeah, I did think, they have to try and change things here, and not just in terms of like.
Oh, Dallow's giving the ball away to Rice on the edge of his own penalty area. That's his first act. Rice drives into the box, left-footed ball, takes a deflection off Dallow and goes into the side netting. What a disastrous introduction that could have been.
But Declan Rice, just how good is he? The way he reads the game, again with or without the ball. You know, Darlow just playing a really poor pass, but again, it's that man Declan Rice. He knows how to position himself. And in the end, perhaps just runs with it a little bit too much in the end. But he is bossing it.
Yeah, he's bossing it. West Ham are bossing it. They're going to deserve all 3 points here. And Manchester United are limping towards the end of the season. And they may be just stuttering at the wrong time in the race for the top 4. Here is Cresswell with the corner on the near side. He'll take this left-footed. They're queuing up at the back post. It's delivered high in towards the evening sky. It's off the head of Aguerd and out to the right, where it's picked up by Taylor Kerr. Left-footed cross into the box. Again, Aguerd is up there. It's going to drop. There's going to be a West Ham shirt that gets on the end of it. It comes through to Antonio, tries to poke it home. It's taken eventually by Rashford, who has to take emergency action and run the ball, dribble the ball out of the penalty area. She can't trust anybody else to deal with it. Throw in, Manchester United, right side.
It was one of those where really he should have passed it, but I do think he felt, I've got to do something by myself here. But West Ham have defended so well. 3 players around him tackling. We're coming up towards the 90-minute mark. It will be interesting to see how many minutes will be added on. There'll be a fair few.
Well, I must admit, the Manchester United response to going a goal down has been pretty poor. They've cultivated very few chances after going 1-0 down. It's almost as if they sort of, I don't know, wilted once they suffered that sucker punch, that setback where David De Gea misread that effort from Saïd Benrahma. It's had a destabilising effect on the team, and they haven't been able to wrestle back their confidence. And you do wonder now how, you know, this is a group that was, at the end of last season, it's a group that was very fragile. One of the big jobs that Erik ten Hag and his coaching staff focused in on was that idea of building the confidence, rebuilding the belief amongst the squad.
Well, that's what he had to do, especially after that Brentford game, and he went a different way and realised that he couldn't quite play his way. But we saw it at the Tottenham game, didn't we?
Great touch into Martial from Rashford. Martial into the penalty area. Right-footed shot towards the near post, saved by Fabianski. That was brilliant football from Manchester United, but Rashford, after releasing Martial, probably can't quite believe that Martial decided to go towards the near post when really he needed to go across the goalkeeper. But I must admit, didn't Aguerd do well?
Well, that's why he had to go the near post, because Aguerd had almost the far post covered and he was under so much pressure. Good save from Fabianski, but because Aguerd was able to follow Martial and make that last-ditch tackle, it meant that he wasn't able to put it exactly where he wanted to.
8 minutes of added time. Adrian raised his eyebrow, but I suppose that's because of the big concussion situation. Here is Fernandes in towards the near post. Unmarked was Martial. I don't know what he's hit, but he hasn't hit the goal. I think he's headed the ball into the floor, and then someone's managed to get it away. Manchester United come again. It's down with Rashford, left side. He goes down. The ball's on the byline into Sabitzer, who plays it against the defender. He goes out for another corner.
Adrian always raises his eyebrow, by the way. But no, look, this is better from United, but it's too little too late at the moment. We're expecting to try and get all 3 points.
I still can't work out. I've seen the replay and I don't know what Martial's done. Here's the corner. They wander into the box with it. Sabitzer wins it back as West Ham threaten to clear. Fernandes with the delivery. Lindelof is at the far post. He's going to drop inside the box for Casemiro. He's got to keep it in as he knows it's going out for another corner. Late pressure from Manchester United. They used to be good at getting late goals in games. Can they get one now? Can they get one right at the end of this game? 2 late subs coming on in Ben Johnson and Flynn Downs. Fernandes to the edge of the box. Dreadful corner. Cleared away. Shaw will get there. Recycle it. Back to Fernandes near side. Offside. Oh dear.
What a waste.
It's been one of those nights.
Oh, what a waste. You know, you're in injury time, you're 1-0 down, you're just starting to build up a little momentum and pressure, and then you try and play a corner that's going to have to need an absolute worldie from outside the box with a volley. Just stick it in around the area and see if you can win the seconds balls. And then when the ball came back to him, He hadn't sprinted back quick enough and he's offside. Just what West Ham wanted.
Still trying to work out what happened with the Martial corner, because it was a really well worked one into the near post. Martial gets the header on. He's only 2 yards from goal. He heads it down rather than at the goal, and I think the goalkeeper just gets a touch on it, does he?
I'd need to look at it again, but I don't know if he was past the front post, which means he's trying to flick it and just didn't get enough contact on it. This is better from United though, Sam, but again, it's too late.
Too late. 3 minutes of the 8 added on have been played, and it remains West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0. West Ham have been excellent. They've been hungry for the ball. They've tenaciously hunted Manchester United to stop them from being able to play, and it's a big mistake that has cost Manchester United points in this game. They haven't really tested Fabianski enough in the second half. Ball down the left, it's slid out by Kerr, away for a throw-in, which will be taken by Luke Shaw. Manchester United in injury time has a certain ring about it, but is there enough in the tank to get a goal here? They haven't displayed that. The ball over the head of Fernandes, away by Pablo Fornals. Anywhere will do. This will be crucial for West Ham. David Moyes hasn't beaten Manchester United since 2012 when he was in charge of Everton, but they are about to inflict United's first defeat against the bottom half team this season. Here are those changes. Flynn Downs on, Ben Johnson on. August 2012, the last time Moyes tasted victory against Manchester United. So much water has gone under the bridge since then. The result will mean Liverpool 1 point behind Manchester United, who still have a game in hand, but they'll be feeling the pressure, Scott, and it'll weigh on their shoulders like an anvil.
Absolutely. You've got a Liverpool side who, are starting to pick up wins however they're playing, and you look at the remaining games they've got, I can see them getting 3 wins out of 3. There's every chance of that. United need to find a way to get over the line. And this is about character as much as technical ability.
That's exactly what it's about, and it's character they haven't shown in the second half here. West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. Antonio drifting off towards this near side. Paquetá, who's been brilliant again for West Ham. Paquetá, Rice, all terrific in the game here at the London Stadium tonight. Some good performances for West Ham. Man of the match going to Saïd Benrahma from the stadium announcer, but I would have been thinking more of Declan Rice, I think, on a day like today. But hey, that's for Scott Minto to decide after the conclusion of the match. And we won't let him even tease you with his thought process.
I think they know.
Here is Fernandes out towards the left-hand side. Late challenge from Manchester United. Any life in the old dog yet? Benrahma takes on Downs, plays it forward into Sancho. Rice comes across, shuts down Sancho, away by Souček, out towards the near side. 6 minutes of added time have been played. David De Gea almost gave the ball straight to Pablo Fornals as he was clearing from the right fullback position. Lindelof infield. Manchester United come forward again. Casemiro drives over halfway down the left side of the centre circle, played into Martial, too deep. Rashford centrally plays it off to Fred. Fernandes drips across into the box, aimed towards Luke Shaw, comes to Rashford inside the area, it's too wide. He takes it down, sets up Dalot, back into Fernandes, another cross incoming. Rashford is down the side of the penalty area right side, poor ball in towards the near post, smuggled behind by Cresswell, and it's out for a corner kick. Rashford wants to take it quickly, Fernandes telling him to wait. They're getting players up from the back here. We're in added time. We've played nearly 7 of the 8 minutes that have been put on by the referee here. Peter Panks. Fernandes with a corner. He drifts this towards the penalty spot. Headed away by Aguerd. Out as far as Sancho. Sancho back down the right. Fernandes with a chance to cross. He comes infield. Past Fornals. Gets onto his left foot. Strikes to the far side. Overhits it. Balloons it into the West Ham United fans. And West Ham will pass a bit more time by bringing Emerson onto the field of play in the final few seconds of this match. Erik ten Hag stands, hands rammed into his very well-tailored dark suit. His open-neck shirt replacing the winter wear of the turtleneck tonight. But spring has not been fruitful so far. and far from blossoming, Manchester United have started to wilt as the heat has been turned up.
Well, there were less than a minute to go. I personally don't really see the point in making a substitution now. You know, you've got Emerson who's going to have to get used to the pace of the game. I hope the ball doesn't come out and someone try and take him on. Aaron Cresswell, as tired as he might be, has been absolutely superb, and Keir on the other side. In fact, the whole back four have. The whole team have since the goal. But Aaron Cresswell has come under criticism at times. I thought he was superb defensively and offensively here.
Bad news for Everton, Leeds, Forest and Leicester, because it almost takes West Ham off the board. We played our 8 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. They lead by a goal to nil. Ben Rama scored it in the first half. The crowd whistling for the whistle. They want the full time to go. They know this is a massive, huge 3 points. They'll be playing Premier League football almost certainly next season. When the referee puts the whistle to his lips, Flynn Downs takes it towards the far corner. It's loose inside the right wing position. The referee's given a free kick to West Ham, and they'll just keep hold of the ball here. It's delaying the agony for Erik ten Hag.
Brilliant play from Jared Bowen. Just realising he could have run inside, he didn't. He turned, went to go back towards the corner flag, got the foul from Luke Shaw, went down. Now another 20 seconds.
West Ham fans congregating in the avenues and alleyways as we get to the final few seconds of the game. West Ham leading by a goal to nil. The party starting at the London Stadium. East London's going to be vibrant again tonight. Claret and blue shirts everywhere inside this stadium. There's a chance to take the free kick on the far side, and then the whistle blows for full time, and listen to that roar. West Ham United will believe that 37 points will keep them in the Premier League. Away from David Moyes tells its own story. A flash of the teeth and a big gaping smile. They take a huge stride towards safety at the London Stadium with a big victory over Manchester United. Erik ten Hag has problems. Manchester United have hit a wall, and Liverpool can feel the possibilities starting to appear. West Ham are the latest to inflict damage on them away from home, and now a faltering that seemed fanciful looks very, very possible. The future ominous for Manchester United. A big mistake from De Gea, the difference. Their position in the top four now is precarious. It's finished at the London Stadium. West Ham 1, Manchester United 0.